This story takes us back to a time 20,000 years ago when humans lived in small tribes. It shows ancient Europeans surviving together by hunting. The chief of this tribe is a man named Airgun. With winter approaching in a few months, he leads his tribe on a hunt to gather enough food to survive the harsh season. Soon they come across a huge herd of buffalo. Crawling carefully toward the herd, Airgun waits for the perfect moment and signals the attack. The hunters charge and the buffaloes panic, running in the opposite direction. Many of them fall one by one into a deep ditch prepared as a trap. However, one furious buffalo survives and charges straight toward Airgun's son, Noyan, who is on his very first hunt and does not know how to react. Airgun shouts for his son to move aside, but fear paralyzes Noyan. Instead of dodging, he runs directly away, making himself an easy target. The enraged buffalo catches him on its horns and rushes toward the ditch. Desperate to save his child, Airgun throws his spear, striking the animal. Even wounded, the buffalo does not stop. It tosses Noyan into the air above the ditch. At this point, the story shifts into a flashback to 1 week earlier. The tribe is preparing for the hunt. They craft sharp weapons from stone, and newcomers must create their own tools to prove themselves worthy of joining. The person who makes the sharpest weapon earns the right to hunt. Noyan successfully passes this test. That night, his mother begs Airgun not to take their son along, fearing for his safety. She cannot bear the thought of losing him. Airgun replies that winter is coming and everyone must hunt or they will starve. Noyan must prove he is strong enough to survive and worthy of being his son. The next morning, the tribe sets out. Though Noyan's mother remains deeply worried, Airgun reassures her that nothing will happen. During their journey, they encounter another tribe, also hunting for winter supplies. After traveling a long distance, they reach an ancient stone structure built by their ancestors. The journey is dangerous, and many lives have been lost along this path, which is why the structure was built as a memorial. Later, they spot a wild boar. Airgun injures it with a spear and tells Noyan to deliver the final blow. But Noyan, inexperienced and frightened, cannot bring himself to kill the animal. Disappointed, Airgun takes the stone dagger and finishes the job himself, harshly telling his son that only the strong survive in this world. It is the law of the jungle. That night, while the tribe eats in darkness, strange sounds echo nearby. Airgun warns everyone to stay alert. Suddenly, a lion attacks, grabs one of the boys, and disappears into the night. The next morning, they build a small tomb in the boy's memory and continue their journey, though prey remains scarce. After walking all day, they rest in a cave. There, Airgun tattoos star patterns onto Noyan's hand and explains that these stars can guide him home if he ever gets lost, a primitive map pointing toward their homeland. The following day, they resume hunting and finally discover the footprints of wild buffalo, filling everyone with hope. Soon, they locate the herd and begin the hunt, bringing the story back to the present moment when the buffalo tosses Noyan off the cliff. Noyan falls, but manages to cling to a rock lodged between the cliff walls. Airgun rushes to the edge, urging him not to lose hope and promising to save him. Suddenly, the rock breaks. Noyan plunges downward, striking the cliff face before landing on a narrow ledge far below. Airgun wants to climb down after him, but the tribe stops him, insisting there is no safe path and that his son cannot have survived. They remind him that he is their leader and must live to guide the tribe home. Heartbroken but unconvinced, Airgun remains at the cliff edge throughout the night, calling out for his son. When morning comes with no response, he finally accepts that Noyan is gone. The tribe builds a small stone tomb in his memory and begins the journey home with their hunted prey. After they leave, a vulture descends, lands beside Noyan's motionless body, and begins pecking at him. But before it can eat him, Noyan's eyes suddenly open. He pushes the vulture away and calls out for his father, but there is no response. This makes him realize that everyone has already left, and no one is coming back to help him. Still, he refuses to give up and tries to climb the rock, but he cannot get very far. Below him lies a deep abyss, and it seems fate is giving him one last chance to survive. After some time, heavy rain begins to fall. Slowly, the ditch below starts filling with water and turns into a flowing river. Noyan realizes that if he wants to live, he must jump. When he sees that the water has become deep enough, he gathers courage and leaps into the abyss. As soon as he hits the water, he loses consciousness. When he wakes up the next day, he finds himself in a different place. He has survived the fall, but his leg is badly injured and twisted. Using sticks, he binds his broken leg so that he can walk. Slowly, he climbs back to the top of the cliff from where he had fallen. But when he reaches there and sees the tomb built in his memory, he breaks down in tears. He understands that his father, Aragon, and the tribe believed he was dead. Suddenly, he hears strange noises nearby. To stay safe, he climbs a tree and spends the entire night perched on its dry branches. The next morning, when he goes to drink water, he sees a pack of wolves rapidly approaching him. Some of them attack. Nyan runs back toward the tree, but one wolf catches his leg. He strikes it with his knife, injuring it, and quickly climbs up. The wolves wait below all night, but by morning they are gone, except for the injured wolf he stabbed. Nyan makes a spear using his knife and approaches the wounded wolf to finish it off, but seeing its helpless condition, he feels pity and cannot bring himself to kill it. Instead, he ties its mouth with a cloth and carries it to the cave where he had once stayed with his tribe. The next day, he searches for herbs, grinds them, and applies them to his injured leg. While drinking water, he notices that the wolf has freed its mouth. At first he is frightened, but he slowly approaches and offers water. The wolf hesitates but drinks. Gradually, it realizes Nyan means no harm. Nyan then applies the herbal medicine to the wolf's wound and feeds it the insects he himself eats. Slowly, a bond begins to form between them. Before evening, Nyan hunts a rabbit, cooks it over a fire, and shares it with the wolf. Both are injured, so they remain in the cave together for several days. One night, Nyan looks at the star tattoos his father had made on his arm and gazes at the sky. He decides he must return home. He tells the wolf it should also go back to its pack. The next morning, he prepares to leave before snowfall begins. But as he walks away, he notices the wolf following him. He tries to drive it away many times, but it refuses to leave. The wolf, now named Alpha, has become attached to him because he saved its life. At one point, Alpha attempts to hunt prey, but fails. Realizing it is hungry, Nyan gives it his own food, the first time Alpha eats from his hand. From then on, they become true companions. Later, Alpha successfully hunts a rabbit, which they share before sleeping side by side. The next morning, Alpha wakes Nyan by licking his face. Laughing, Nyan pushes him into the river to clean him, and both end up bathing. Alpha even catches a fish for food. That night, as they sit by the fire, Alpha senses something. Soon several wolves appear, Alpha's family. Understanding this, Nyan tells him to go with them, and Alpha leaves with his pack. The next morning, Nyan resumes his journey alone. Winter has now arrived. Snow covers everything as he struggles forward through the freezing landscape. From a distance, he sees wolves feeding on a carcass, and among them is Alpha. However, the other wolves do not allow Alpha to eat. Recognizing his friend, Nyan runs toward him. Suddenly, the ice beneath his feet cracks. It is a frozen lake. He falls through into the icy water below. Alpha rushes to help and jumps repeatedly on the ice, trying to break it, but the layer is too thick. Beneath the freezing water, Nyan begins to lose breath, gasping desperately as time runs out. Then somehow he pulls out his knife, breaks the layer of ice, and manages to come out of the freezing water. Once again, both of them are reunited. To escape the cold, Nyan quickly lights a fire and removes his wet clothes to warm himself. The next morning, Nyan resumes his journey with Alpha. After walking some distance, he sees a man and becomes very happy, thinking he has found help. But when he goes closer, he realizes the man has frozen to death. Saddened, Nyan searches the man's tent but finds nothing useful. He then takes the man's bow and arrows and continues forward. Soon he notices hyenas chasing them. Both of them run for their lives and enter a cave. They escape the hyenas, but the cave turns out to be the home of an even more dangerous animal, a black panther. The panther attacks Nyan, but before it can reach him, Alpha leaps forward and fights it. During the struggle, Nyan sees Alpha weakening and shoots an arrow at the panther, killing it. Alpha survives but suffers many injuries. Nyan treats Alpha's wounds, thanks him for saving his life, and promises never to abandon him. The next morning, they continue their journey again. After traveling many miles, Nyan finally reaches the ancient structure built by his ancestors. Seeing it fills him with joy because it confirms he has been heading in the right direction. Now he knows his tribe is not far away. He moves forward with renewed hope. But after a short distance, Alpha collapses. Due to weakness and injuries, he can no longer walk. Without hesitation, Nyan lifts Alpha in his arms and continues toward the tribe. A fierce snowstorm rages, and after weeks of travel, Nyan is exhausted, yet he refuses to give up and keeps moving slowly forward. At last, he sees his tribe in the distance. Around the same time, his father notices someone approaching from afar. Nyan's happiness knows no bounds at the sight of home after so long. Somehow, he reaches the tribe and collapses. His parents rush toward him, unable to believe that their son is alive, as they had long accepted his death. Overwhelmed with joy, they embrace him. Before losing consciousness, Nyan begs his father to save Alpha, then faints. When he wakes up hours later, he finds himself inside his home. His parents and tribe members are gathered around him, and Alpha is lying beside him. They soon discover that Alpha has given birth to several pups. Nyan is astonished. Alpha was actually a female wolf and had been pregnant throughout the journey, yet she never left his side. Deeply moved, Nyan hugs her and silently thanks her. In the final moments, weeks have passed and Alpha's pups have grown stronger. This marks the beginning of a new bond between humans and animals. After enduring countless hardships, Nyan has finally returned home, and now Alpha and her children are part of his life as well. With this, the story comes to an end.